Turn that damn roof off!
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's a Freedom Friday. You've made it to the weekend, so we're going to have a lot of fun here on the show today. We're going to get into best and worst of the week, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty. We'll also have an Alumni Hall question of the day, Vibe Check the Chat. They're presented by Basis Health, and also have that Freedom Friday presented by BetSaracen, when we'll just open it all up and talk about each and everything you want to talk about, as well as be joined by Matt Musso of ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge, talking Arkansas and LSU this weekend. But feels good. Andrew Ellis is on the road going down there to Baton Rouge, but it's all right. Curtis has got a nice little setup. He's on the beach. You can't tell, but he is on the beach. So glad you made the trip safely, man. How's the beach treating you?
So far, so good. I mean, I haven't got to hang out there just yet. We were in Williamsburg yesterday, which is a little bit off the beach, but we're here now. And I was trying to get the cool setup, have it have the waves and stuff in the background. But you know how these cameras are, man. It just looks like bright light. You couldn't see anything. So I was like, whatever. I'll fix it. And then I wanted to keep the door open to the balcony because I was like, oh man, I'll just get the fresh ocean air. But this is basically a naval base. So every, 3 minutes, there's fighter jets flying over. So it's pretty loud. So it's like, all right, I'll shut the door too. But it is cool here. But the vibes are good, but I'm ready to rage against the machine, brother. I'm fired up. I've been looking forward to today's show, man. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah. I was going to open the show and just say, hey, so what do you want to talk about today? It's not like anything's going on or anything like that, man. Wild. It's been a wild 24, 48 hours for a lot of different reasons. And it's been great, though, because, it's not that we would run out of content because we'd never do that. But it has been interesting to see fans and Razorback fans getting all excited and fired up about some things that were said. And I know I talked a little bit on my Locked On about it this morning, and we were texting in the group chat about everything going on. We talked about it in the Discord and everything. And man, this has just been quite the man. I don't even know how to describe it. I gave my thoughts, but I want to open it up to you. Just for those who don't know, the comments made on a particular radio show about fans and about accepting mediocrity, and how anybody that says that is a mantra of a stupid person, I guess. So just what's your reaction to what's been going on the past 24 hours, Curtis?
It's bait. They don't believe that either. I think, I'm guessing that you know that, it's, they don't believe what they're saying there. But what gets me about it, John, is it's the arrogance of the situation. It's the condescension involved. They don't take you seriously, Razorback fans, and they're mocking you. Right. And so that should be frustrating to you. And honestly, it's interesting to me that it's a microcosm of the exact type of approach and vibe that you get from the U of A right now at times, if you're a Razorback fan. And so it's not lost on me that these are two folks who are appointed voices of the University of Arkansas that are doing that. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. They don't believe that. Everybody knows, nobody accepts mediocrity. But to say that and mock you and make fun of you, to me, it's just a microcosm of the bigger issue that we're dealing with here. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it's, to me, it's kind of a poor troll job also. If you think about it, it's like, oh, you feel this way, you're stupid. And then everybody reacts with outrage. And it's like, oh, but we were trolling you, you're still stupid. It's like, oh, wow, sick burn, dude. So I don't know, man. It was a weird deal for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, you couldn't have said it better myself, because I mean, me and you were on the same page. It's just one of those things to where when I first watched it, I felt like, just like so many people sent it to me, I was like, well, I think that's a direct response to probably what I had to say about mediocrity and everything, which is fine. I mean, that's part of it. That's, in this business, you get people that agree and disagree, or you base some of your content on what somebody else says or what somebody else writes. It happens all the time. So it wasn't necessarily that, but I didn't get mad at it for me because someone was taking a shot at me. I mean, for crying out loud, we get shots taken at us each and every day of our lives, it seems like. So it's not that. I was just more mad for the fans because of what you kind of alluded to, of I like no one worth their salt is actually going to believe that anyone that rejects mediocrity is stupid. Like that's just, I mean, it's an asinine comment that nobody would actually believe and say. So that was my first reaction, like you said. But I just felt like it's manipulative, and it's also just almost taking advantage of the high emotions and the high feelings that Razorback fans have right now about a lot of things, only to if you want to call it a troll job, only to call it a, you know, whatever it is. It's just it's so indicative of kind of what the whole problem in the culture is of a lot of things going on with the U of A, where it's like we look so little about you, and we feel so little about you that we even like making fun of you. And even if you think we're making fun of you and we're not, we're going to troll you and make it look like we're making fun of you when we're not. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, what's the point of this? And treating the Razorback fans, the hands that feed you, and the people that are part of this deal, and it would be one thing if it was just a random show or, somebody that was just out there doing this, but you're talking about people that are connected with the U of A. And I think that that's really what was very disappointing for people. And I'm sure you've had the same thing, Curtis. I had so many people reach out to me, even before I said anything in a response or anything like that, that people were so upset, not Twitter trolls, not random people on social media, but a lot of legitimate Razorback fans that don't get on social media a lot, that don't get outraged on social media, message me and everything, and how disappointed they were and how frustrated they were, because that's how it feels in a real microcosm of what is going on. And so that's where I just felt really bad for Razorback fans, because if you ever felt or believed that you're not appreciated, you feel unwelcomed or anything like that, well, that's pretty much a great direct indication that seems to be a legitimate feeling you should have, because that's how it's actually going on right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think there's 100% truth in that, and I don't blame anybody for getting upset about it or outraged by it. They knew that was coming when they put it out there. I mean, that's why they selected the 26-second clip or whatever. I mean, they knew what the reaction was going to be, and like we said, it was by design. But that's the problem. It's just, I don't know, man. It just comes across, I don't know, holier than thou, almost like I'm better than you attitude. And that's just, people don't want to hear that. And that's, at times has been permeated from the top and is what's turned people off, for this athletic department in a lot of situations. I just think at the end of the day, it's really not about that particular show as much as it is the greater situation here. And this just being like a minute example of kind of what's going on. But it's whatever, man. And like Razorback fans, if you took it seriously, I wish you wouldn't have, but I understand it. Like, nobody should be telling you as a Razorback fan how you're supposed to feel. You know what I mean? Like, they can if they want, but like, you should be able to make your own decisions. That's fine. But for representatives of the university to essentially call you stupid, whether they're just making fun of you or they mean it or not, they're calling you for being a fan, right? Like, it's just incredibly out of touch. It creates a divide that shouldn't be there. And it's a poor look. So it's whatever, man. Everybody can do whatever they got to do, but wasn't a fan of it personally.
Yeah. And that's the deal, is you can have your opinion. Everyone does content in their own way. We do our content in our own way. And, we get people agree with us or not. And that's fine. Like, we're not everybody's for everybody. Like, we want to have as many people watching us and being a part of it, but there's just going to be some people that don't agree and don't like, and whatever, that's fine. But yeah, it's just, I try to be sympathetic with a lot of Razorback fans, because I am one. And I try to understand the by and large situation that they find themselves in, be rational, but if the majority of the fans are hurting and they're upset, it's like, okay, well, let's talk about why. Let's get to the root of this. Do they have a reason to be? Do they feel justified in their reasoning of it? And so anytime that there's somebody that comes out, or anybody that comes out and, kind of, I don't know, it just feels like you're kind of kicking people while they're down type of deal. It's like people are suffering and in their own right, even though it is sports. I know it's not like as serious as an illness, although some people may be ill, but it's not to that seriousness, but it is still something that they care about. And instead of talking about it, instead of building, instead of even saying, hey, it's going to be okay type approach, it's like, stupid idiots, kids. Like, you guys have no idea what's going on. You guys are idiots. So that was what was disappointing to me. And I just continue to ask, man, is there a way to kind of Because I don't think every single Razorback fan is feeling on this side where they just hate everything and everything's bad. There are probably some Razorback fans that are fine, that are good. But for the fans that have felt this way and have been treated this way, is there, like, how do you repair it? Like, how do you fix it? How do you get them back? We could just say simply winning? Is it simply that? Or does it have to be more than that to try to get these fans that feel like they've been, kind of shunned? How do you get back that relationship and get back their passion and love and appreciation?
That's a great question. It's the $1 million question. It's really the only thing that matters, in this conversation, honestly. I do think that there's a level of truth to winning cures all, like that would really help. But I think the way to get there is to invest in said winning appropriately, which is, I don't think is actually happening. Right. So getting to that would be one thing. And then, and I think words kind of ring hollow at this point. And maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist here, but I mean, we understand how that show works over there and like the relationships that are involved over there. And sometimes, I mean, it's just true. And we've talked about this on the show before, and I'm not throwing shade at those guys for this, but there are directives or narratives or things that, might want to come out from the university that can get filtered through them. Like that message gets sent through them. That's how it works. I wish I was in that position, but I'm not. And that's okay. But it almost wonder, like with the Razorback Roadshow coming up here, if some of this is by design, because I do think like the first step to solving a problem is admitting that you have one. And so maybe this is opening a door for Hunter, for example, to be up there and speaking in front of people and everything and say, hey, no. Let me clear the air. We are not accepting mediocrity, and here's how we're going to change it. It's just words. Like that's going to ring hollow to a lot of people, but it's a start. What I would probably do is say, hey, it's come to my attention here that a lot of Razorback fans out there are feeling some type of way. Like you feel made fun of, you feel devalued, you were feeling all these things. And whether you say, yeah, you're right to feel that way or not, he's not going to do that. But he could say, I don't want you to feel that way. That pains me. That saddens me. It's my job to change that. Those are the kind of things that you could at least say to start slowly turning the tide. But it's going to take a lot more than that. I just think maybe that's a start, and the opportunity is right in front of you to start maybe doing it.
No, I think that's a great one. It's a great start, because if you identify the problem, then it all of a sudden becomes relatable to those who feel like there is a problem.
Right.
And relatability is what you need to have to try to build a relationship. They're kind of in like going together there, because you have to understand and get on the same page of everything. And so when there is evidence of issues, and there has been evidence of issues, it's not like Arkansas has just been winning and fans are being delusional and crazy because they're just not winning enough. It's not that. It's like, there's been some evidence of this. And I even mentioned it in my podcast, and I want to re-clarify it, that I was talking about how I've heard from coaches, current coaches, assistant coaches across all sports in the University of Arkansas that have reached out to me and have expressed their own frustrations of things. And that's not to say that they haven't expressed those frustrations to them, the administration, and everybody there too. It's not like they haven't said anything, but they're going to go to John Neighbors and tell him, no. This is something that they want people to understand and know. They wouldn't tell me, they wouldn't seek me out to tell me unless they wanted people to know out there and wanted Razorback fans to know that they know there's a problem. They know that there is issues going on, and they've been frustrated about it. And to me, that is the biggest example to point to. Forget all the other nonsense and just be like, no, trust us, everything's fine. If there's coaches saying that, multiple coaches saying that across multiple sports, this ain't just a simple like, just fans are upset. No, there's problems. So like you said, identify that. Say, hey, we know we haven't done this. We know we want to do this. But here's how we're going to get to this. Just be transparent and honest about stuff instead of hiding in the shadows and having people do your bidding to say the things that you feel like need to be said. Just be honest and be upfront and be transparent. And that's going to go a long way. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, I think so too, man. And I mean, I understand, like, I'm not naive to the complexities of, dealing with a a college athletics program in today's day and age with everything you got going on with, revenue sharing and ticket sales and NIL. And I mean, there's a ton that goes into it. It ain't easy. It's not. I couldn't do the job, certainly. But there are ways to go about doing this a little bit better and approaching it and discussing it and building that relationship. That's just, I mean, your relationship with the fan base is the backbone of everything that you do as an athletic department. And we can talk about, funding and having coaches and play, whatever else, but you've got to have the support of your people. I mean, that's how officials get elected into office, in politics. That's just kind of the way that it works. So mending those fences there, I think, is important. And it is interesting to me, man, because, and I'm getting slightly off topic here. Well, not really. I'm just kind of transitioning into something else, I guess. But, there were times during football season where we kind of got the rap or the moniker of being, like anti-Arkansas or negative or whatever. And it just so happened to turn out that, like when things were going bad, we talked about, that's what we do here. When things are great, you're not going to find any, bigger Kool-Aid sippers than us. When things are going bad, we're going to be honest about it. We're going to be truth tellers. We're going to give our opinions. That's just kind of how it works. We're passionate. We care. But that's what always bothered me so much about when it's like, oh, they're anti-Arkansas. Oh, they're just haters or whatever. Do you want people who care enough to tell the truth, to be in your corner, who understand the way that you feel? Or do you want people who are supposed to be representatives of the university doing stuff like this and mocking you and laughing at you and making fun of you? It's just wild to me, man. And they've taken a lot of shots at us. They have. That internet show, fake media on, all that stuff. Oh, they're down in Lexington taking pictures of their food, whatever. They've been doing that. This is not new. This is something that's been happening. And don't make no mistake, we have taken shots right back. That's how it is in this industry. It's healthy. Like it's like media rivalry, just like teams from different schools. No disrespect intended. I don't take it personally. It's just a thing. But I do think it's interesting that given the position that folks are in over there, and given the position that we put in, where certain factions of the U of A, and I'm not talking about players, and I'm not talking about coaches, I'm not talking about boosters or donors, so you can do the math there, have been going out of their way to hold us back, right? We shouldn't even be competition. We shouldn't be on their minds. We shouldn't be part of the daily discussion over there, but we are. So what does that say about us? And then what does that say about what's going on over there? That's my question.
Yeah, no. And I think that that's something that we've known and discussed and felt for a long time. And because that's, like you said, it's healthy to have that kind of banter and fun. I've been doing it. That's because I just like to, I've always felt like in media, at least here locally, I like to call out absurdity because it is an absurd thing. Like there's a lot of things that are absurd about the media, especially locally. And not to say I'm not respecting it. There's just absurdities to it. And I always like calling it out and everything. But the deal is that, when you talk about like the situation that we're in, for instance, and kind of the way that we've been shunned in a lot of different directions, I've gone through and racked my mind through, what could it be? Because we've been told a lot of things that were not true and told a lot of things that ended up not being correct, or at least they pivoted to a different thing. But my whole thing about this is that it's all about control. And, if you're in radio, as someone who worked in radio a long time, there's always an element of control that the universities can have towards those radio stations. Because what do radio stations do? Well, they play their games. They play the Razorback games. And they do it through the IMG College in Learfield. And if there was ever anything that they didn't like or was said or anything, they could just be like, you're not playing games anymore. And there goes a lot of your revenue. They have that control and leverage. Same thing with a lot of television stations. I mean, not to say that television stations get controversial a lot, but there's a lot of things that get played on those stations, whether it's coaches' shows or it's games themselves or whatever it is. And all they have to do is say, nah, you can't do it anymore. Because if you say something they don't like or don't want, boom, there it goes. And then written word is a little bit different because it's never really been about that. But still, the point is, it's about control. And then doing something like what we do, there's no way to control it. There's no way to put a handle on it and in a way threaten and have leverage against us. Be like, well, if you don't do this, if you don't approach it this way, you're going to get this taken away. Well, they don't have that. So that way they just shun, pretend it doesn't exist, pretend it's a joke, pretend they don't care. And that's how they get their power and their leverage. And that's how I've kind of viewed it, as like, it's about what can be controlled and narratives that can be controlled. And that's why you see people in certain positions to be able to control that narrative through the local media perspective. And it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. Unfortunately, we have accepted apparently the way we are going to be viewed, and we're just going to roll with it until the end. But I think that, with what we accomplish and what we're continuing to do and what we're going to continue to try to continue to do and grow and brand and everything, I'm not too concerned about the viewpoints of other people. Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of the sheep. So we're just going to keep doing it, man. And anyways, yeah, I think it's good to discuss, because I think it's all encompassing. You said you're really getting a little off topic, but yeah, I think it's all encompassing. It's all part of it. So, but yeah, that was what a time, man. What a time. I thought that I was sitting here like 2 days ago being like, geez, man, what are we going to talk about other than baseball and all that stuff on Friday?
Honestly.
Yeah. Thanks for the content, fellas. Appreciate that. So, but we'll get into a lot of things here on the show, though, folks. And I know that there are people in the chat that's definitely wanting to get into a few things, too. So let's go ahead and do a little vibe checking of the chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way that healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits for the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. Basis Health, they are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. So, appreciate everybody. In fact, our guy Dre, appreciate the super chats, my man. He said, imagine any other industry were saying you would refuse to accept mediocrity and being mocked for it. They are a bunch of clowns. Well, that's certainly how it was taken.
And it just, and I do, again, have no reason to want to defend anything that's said over there, but they don't believe that either.
No,
they don't. But the mockery is definitely the frustrating part of it. But that's true. Like nobody accepts that. It's like you said on your Locked On podcast, John, about like, at Inside Arkansas, if somebody was, if we were just kind of barely keeping our head above water, and it's like, oh, how are we gonna improve? Like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get our engagement up? Whatever. How are we gonna make this thing work? And then people are just like, you're not. I mean, this just kind of is what it is. Deal with it. That wouldn't fly, right?
No.
There are students out there who make C's consistently. Teachers still push them to do better. Parents still push them to do better. There are backups on every team, and they strive to be starters. It's just, embracing mediocrity or whatever. It's not like Sam Pittman's not doing that. Taylon Green's not doing that. They all want to be better. Everybody understands that. And that's why it was kind of a, it was an outrageous thing to say, and it draws outrageous responses, naturally. And I think they knew that was coming. So, yeah, we appreciate it, though. Also, a shout out to our guy Hazelwood. Appreciate the super chat. Gracefully done. Better man than me. Yeah. I mean, listen, everybody reacts and does their own thing, but it's a matter of, you got looking at all different angles, and then also kind of surveying what the rest of the reactions could be, everything like that. But like Curtis said, though, we try to be fair. And I even brought it and started thinking about it too from this perspective. It's like, say Sam Pittman. I know we've been critical of Sam Pittman. I've been critical of Sam Pittman. Mm-hmm. But if Sam Pittman went 10-2 this upcoming football season, I'll be the first one to be like, dude, that was awesome. You were great. Stay another year. Get 100-year check. You made the right decision in keeping him on. Like, I'll be the first one to say that. 100%. It's just about calling balls and strikes, about being fair. And and that's what we try to do. We don't have an agenda. We don't have any narrative. Like, it's not like we're sitting here carrying water for anybody, but we're also not trying to run people out on a limb and get them out of here and everyone fired and everyone fired up no matter what happens. It's like, when it's good, it's good. And when it's bad, it's bad. I mean, that's what we tried to do. Yeah, and transparently speaking, business is better when football is good here. Yeah. So I hope that they figure it out. And honestly, like in the last several months, the more that we've learned about some other things, the less I felt like this is a Sam Pittman issue, frankly. Yeah. So, Yeah, it's much bigger than that too. We'll get to your chats, folks. Really appreciate it. Our guy Dre said, I think he said status quo cronies will always fear disruption and disruptors. Very true there. Very true. I think people, again, are going to have their own opinions on everything, just like that's what we have opinions on and whatnot. But,
I don't know. I just don't feel like I could ever like make fun of. Like I give the chat a hard time, but I don't think I'd ever get made. I don't think I'd ever make fun of anybody for like wanting to be better. You know, that's just such a weird thing. Like, just imagine being at the gym. It's just like you got this person over there that's overweight, that's unhealthy looking, that looks disgusting or whatever, and they're trying to get better, and you're just like, what an idiot! Like, yeah, you have like no, like that's a terrible thing to do. Like, you want to help people. You want people to help themselves. You want everyone to be better. So that's how I look at it. Let's see. Also, Bill Brown just sending in chats, man. We appreciate you, Bill. Thanks.
Good man, Bill.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bill. Let's see. Hayden says, appreciate it. He says, administration is going to add more taxes on our beer due to fan dissension. Probably so.
3%.
Yeah. Can't, if only they told you where it was going, you'd probably feel a little bit better about it.
Who sent, was that sent in our group text? The, Old Coal Beer t-shirt?
No, but I saw what you're talking about. Yeah.
Listen,
I think one of our guys posted about it too.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
If it wasn't $40, I'm not gonna lie, I'd buy one. If it was 20, I would. I'd probably buy that shirt. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, $40 is a steep for a t-shirt.
And maybe it's like a dry fit. I don't know. It might be a really nice shirt, but yeah, they dropped it down a little bit. I might purchase that.
Yeah. At least consider it. Let's see. Our guy Evan says, we can all like Sam Pittman as a person, cheer him on to succeed, but also have a standard. Both things can be true, which is 100% true.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And, you know, I know there's also contextual stuff with all this. It's like, why wouldn't you embrace mediocrity? Arkansas has been mediocre since they joined the SEC. You're like, look at the average wins per year or whatever. Well, yeah, but like this is also a changing landscape of college football. And if there is a time where you can control your fortunes and turn that around, this is it. And as Razorback fans, you've also had taste of what that high level of success looks like. Everybody should be striving for that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's being passionate. It's being a fan. Like that's the sheer definition of it. If you accepting mediocrity means becoming complacent. And that means not buying tickets and not going to games and not caring. That's the whole point of being a fan. Like you want something to be emotionally invested in. You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and also to your point too, like anybody that's ever brought up the excuse, and this is, I think, the thing that upsets me the most, and really the whole origin of what our discussion was about earlier this week, when we hear people saying that, oh, you know, you say this is just the way it is with a football program, blah, blah, blah. Like, I may have at least understood that to an extent if it wasn't for the fact that I see Ole Miss doing great. I see Missouri doing great. Like, if it was just the big schools, then okay. But you're telling me that Ole Miss has more resources and more ability to field a really good football team than you do? Like, is it that much more? Because last time I checked, they're paying Lane Kiffin significantly more than Pittman, and they have a lot more NIL. They took all your players, it seems like. So I just don't buy it if I see other programs that are either on the same playing field as you or at least comparable having success consistently, and you're not. Like, I just don't buy that if it was the different. But that's my biggest thing I point to is just, well, they're doing something right. Why don't you do what they're doing?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the why not us mentality. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're in the, like, I mean, people say, well, it's Arkansas. Well, they're in the SEC. You know, like this is not some, you know, podunk. I was staying next door last night to William and Mary University. I didn't even know that was a D1 school. It is. It's not like them saying, why not us? Well, I can give you a million reasons why not you. But that's not the case here. You know, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't either. Man, really appreciate all the super chats, folks. Toothless Devo says, absolutely wild. Anybody would agree with Chuck and Dwight's take. LOL. Well,
again, like they don't agree with it. I mean, it was a, you know,
exactly. I like this from Trey because I kind of felt so. He's like, need a Doge audit of Arkansas athletics. That would be kind of interesting to ever get that. Just see what the inner goings and spending and all that go towards. That'd be really funny and interesting if that happened.
I do. I see. I see right here in the chat. Big Red said William Mary's got a good football program. They might. I mean, they might have won the like the FCS national title or something this past year. I have no idea. I should have at least looked it up before I threw them under the bus. But
well, let's just. The point is that they're not in the SEC and they're not Arkansas and they're not the team that has that money. That's the point. Our guy Dre says we've seen other teams go from 0 to hero except us. We want more. Yeah, which is 100% true, man.
And I also want to say, for the people on the other side of the coin, who might be like, hey, like it's just kind of been the way that it always is. And, like all these other teams, seems like they have more resources and boy, it's tough. And we 4-8, that was rough, but showed some progress last year. And, like, hey, let's buckle up and work harder next year. Like we're okay. That's fine. 100% fine. Yep. If you feel that, I mean, sure. Mm-hmm. People can fan however they want to fan. And just because I might take the other stance doesn't mean I'm going to say you're stupid for being okay with that. No, feel however you want to feel.
Yeah. It's your feelings. Like we can't, like, I doubt any of you that are feeling a certain way. I'm going to be honest, as much as I am confident in myself and confident in what we do, but if any of you are feeling one certain way strongly and you listen to us right now and you go, okay, I'm doing a 180 and completely changing my mind, I would think that's weird. Or even if you start to agree with us, I think that's weird. Like you're going to have your feelings. You can maybe hear things in a different light, but to go from being on one side of the extreme to the other side of the extreme pretty immediately, that's just not a thing. So,
and if you, and you're like, honestly, and this is an interactive show too. If you,
for sure.
Anytime we have something that we're talking about and you don't agree, let us know. And most of the time you do, but like, there's no ego over here. I am wrong about things daily and I usually admit it whether I want to or not, but like it's I don't know, man, this whole thing has just been baffling me.
I know.
Yesterday,
I'm in a twilight zone. It's like, am I taking crazy pills here? Like, are we the ones that are like, how are we the voices of reason over here? Because that's the thing. I think people get this mindset that like, with what we do and everything, they just assume that in our own minds we're right about everything all the time, but it's not the case at all. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, I picked Arkansas to finish like no worse than 5th in the SEC West every year I've been at the SEC media days. Like, I mean, I'm wrong a lot, but I'm also not, as you said, egotistical enough to be like, I've never been wrong. I'm right about everything. And if you think I'm wrong, then F you. Like, no, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what anybody does. It's stupid. So, man, on these chats, we really appreciate it, folks. Wyatt Peters says, new transfer portal, COVID, and NIL threw Pittman for a loop in his first head coaching job, made good hires and recruits. Do or die year for Pittman, year 2, Bobby. Which, I mean,
maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Or I'll tell you what, I'm sure that it is. But what we define as make or break might be different than what the U of A does. I mean, we really don't know. But you're 100% right about that. And, it goes back to some context stuff. In a lot of cases, the portal becoming what it did and NIL, like all those things, created the avenue to for other programs to really elevate themselves. I mean, it's exactly what it did for Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Lane Kiffin fully equipped for that. You're right about Sam Pittman, and that doesn't mean he hasn't done a good job in the portal and hasn't learned to embrace it. And they got Remy to handle some of that other stuff. That's all true. But I agree that I think it did, all that stuff happening at once without regulation. And he would even admit it, I'm sure, just being like, whoa, this ain't what I signed up for. We got to adjust here.
Yeah, absolutely. A few more chats here too. T Razorback, I can't remember if we read this, but he says, just, we stand against mediocrity. Yeah.
Amen.
Print it on the shirts. Like, put those on t-shirts. We don't, the mantra of stupid people. We stand against mediocrity. Let's see. Also, appreciate this from Razor Shark. He says, Inside Arkansas, thanks for another week of this show. Have a great stream and a great weekend.
Appreciate you. Razor Shark.
Razor Shark. Also, Jose says, I wonder if I can pull it up. Okay. Well, it's not working for him. But anyways, Jose says, Curtis, I think you're going to have a baby boy. He will play basketball and will play for the Razorbacks. There we go.
Okay. All right. Well, update alert, not super update alert, but Michelle has the cake. the cake that will reveal whether it's a boy or a girl. She's on her way back now. As soon as the show is over, we're gonna figure it out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so I didn't think I would be this nervous because it's, you know, I mean, you're gonna be overjoyed either way. And we're not doing like a big, I know we were joking on the show the other day. It's like, no, dude, don't do anything like that. You're gonna lose your man card. We're not doing anything too bougie or over the top. And we've got the cake. It was the same person that made our wedding cake. That's why we're out here. We're gonna cut it by ourselves. We're not gonna do it live, Dre. I thought about it, but we're not gonna do it. And then we're gonna see, and we're gonna celebrate together, and then we'll let people know. But either way, I'm gonna be a happy dad.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. No, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Hopefully Michelle doesn't peek, you know, like accidentally, like in the cake, just peels back the color of it and tries to feel like the color of it and all. So
yeah, and we've been trying to fit, because, you know, if you really think about it, like we can't do a slice of the cake because when you pull the knife out the first time, you'll see the crumbs and you'll know if it's pink or blue or whatever. Yeah. And some people will take the cups. Have you seen that? You just take a cup and like scoop.
I have not seen that.
That's interesting. Or we might just, it's a small cake, so we might just do one on the side and just let it kind of fall over, and we'll see. I don't know.
Just throw it in Michelle's face, and then just whatever it ends up being. Just
see, that would be funny. But honestly, we went and got coffee this morning, and she's got to be careful. And she like tripped on the curb, spilled her coffee all over the place. She didn't fall, thank God. Don't need that to happen, but had to get that refilled and everything. And so when she left, because we knew we were going to be doing the show right now, and it's just a couple blocks down the road, she went to get the cake, and I'm like, I know that you can barely see your feet now over that pregnant belly of yours, but watch every step that you take. Do not fall down and hurt yourself or the cake, or you're going to be very upset. But she texted me and said she has the cake. She's on her way back. So that's good.
Good deal. Good deal. Good to know. So it'll be a good day. It's going to be a good day no matter what. It's just a matter of what you're going to have to stress about. Different stresses of a boy and girl. It's just a matter of the type of stress. So like this from Witty, where he says, it's your kid. Do whatever the F you want. What everybody says.
Right. That's right.
True, Witty. True. All right. Also, Hog Fan 40 on says, neighbors got that wood and knocking some skull. Yeah, I know. I was like sitting there. I was like, I didn't think about it. I really didn't put it all together, but I like this little bat. So I've been kind of holding it. It's a real size bat, by the way. I'm just that big. But that, and also I got my, we didn't come to paint. Came to win, the Bobby Petrino shirt from Good Days. So it's a little snug on me these days, but I still had to wear it because we didn't come to paint. We came to win.
Does your hat say something?
Yeah, because I was like, sweet Arkansas gal said, John, love you, man, but you need something on your hat. It does say pigs.
Okay. I could barely make it out. I'm half blind.
I got to realize that with I have the studio lighting, I think the studio lighting washes it out, because I really like this. I like the white hat, but you're right. It looks like there's nothing on it. That would be kind of the fashion statement I was making if I was just wearing a hat with nothing on it. But it does say something. It's just hard to tell. But thank you. Appreciate you for that. Also, William Williams says, I watch every show you have. I have never found you to be anything but except fair. Congrats, Curtis, on your child coming. So
thank you. Thank you very much for that, William Williams. I hope that that's legit, by the way. The name there, William Williams, I think is electric. We're going to be doing our entire dinner tonight's going to be the baby name thing. So I've been really paying attention. All these names that have popped up in the chat, I've been watching it. Like Toothless Devo is one that really stood out to me. So I had to have that discussion with Michelle. But no, we appreciate that, man. We try to be fair. We get a little off the rails sometimes, but it's all in good fun. So
that's right. That's right. Also, Luke's talking about my hat. He says, looks like an unk hat. You're about to grill in the backyard with socks and sandals on. What does that mean? Like I like
that.
I mean, that sounds like a great thing to do, but I just didn't know that this was the type of hat that an unk would wear while wearing socks and sandals in a grill. Like, okay.
That's my favorite thing to do. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like, but are you doing it in a white hat though? That's the kicker. You got to do it in a white hat apparently. So either way. All right. So we'll get to more of your chats, folks. Really appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here on the show today. But I know we're going to have some more things to talk about, but I was just curious to get into our Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by our Alumni Hall, our friends over there, with all the great Razorback apparel you could possibly want. You can go and to their website, to the website of InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall. You can also visit them in store at 3417 North College Avenue. If you use that code HOGS20, you get 20% off your purchase. We're going to be there a week from today. Inside Arkansas Live will be live from Alumni Hall. They're getting you ready for the final weekend of Razorback baseball in the regular season. So come hang out. They got everything you could possibly want when it comes to everything Razorback. Again, check them out on the website at InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall or in store at 3417 North College Avenue, using that code HOGS20 for 20% off your purchase. Since Arkansas and LSU are playing this weekend, which we'll have Matt Musso do a little previewing of that. I know our baseball guy Andrew's on his way down there. But either way, it's just, hey, what's the Razorbacks record going to be this weekend in LSU? 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-3. Simple as that. Well, 66% of you say 2-1. It's pretty fair. But here's what's crazy. 20% of you say 1-2. While only 13% say it's a sweep of 3-0. So I feel like Razorback fans are pretty level-headed where nobody's sweeping this series. But it looks like Arkansas, they feel pretty confident that they're going to be the ones that win the series.
I like that. I respect that. I would probably go 2-1 myself. I really do think it comes down to tonight, though. I think Root just sets the tone, man. And he really needs to come out there and set the tone again and pitch well on the road. He doesn't have to go 8 scoreless, like he did last week, but come out there, give you a quality start, get you off to a good start in the season or in the series. If you drop game 1, I don't think you come back and win Saturday and Sunday. Personally, not there, not in that environment when you're when your ace has been such a tone setter for you. But if they win, today, I feel great about their, chances, obviously, of winning another game the rest of the weekend. But I do think the series winner will be determined tonight. That's my not so hot take.
No, because I also agree. I just think that with where Arkansas is at, and LSU's a really good team too. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be on the road. It's going to be a tough environment no matter what. But yeah, setting the tone is always so important. But I did want to play this video too. Jay Johnson, the head coach of LSU, had some very complimentary things to say about Dave Van Horn. I don't really know how I feel about him, but I'm at least going to give him some praise and some credit for this.
I think when I think about Arkansas, a couple things come to mind. Number one, they recruit better than everybody else in college baseball. Like, hands down, explosive players, talent. To me, they're kind of the standard of that in recruiting. No matter who you end up with, you're always going to be in for a battle because they're always going to be able to match up. Number two, and I have a lot of respect for my peers in the league. With him, he's, in his own way, he's one of the most competitive coaches that I know, and certainly respect that. I think he's hired really good assistant coaches. They have a really good home environment, and at the end of the day, it comes down to who's on the field. And they always play defense. The pitching staffs, whether it was Hagen Smith, we beat them in Frisco, and they had a guy named Blaine Knight at the time, right-handed pitcher who was really good. And I remember going like, wow, that's a pretty good win right there. We just beat Blaine Knight, Dave Van Horn, Tony Vitello was the third base coach, and Wes Johnson was the pitching coach. Little did I know 7 or 8 years ago, like all of that would be intertwined. But I remember feeling like, man, that's a great win right there. So just a lot of respect for the whole operation. Like, to me, like, again, they haven't won it the last game, but over 10 years, you'd have a hard time convincing me anybody's been any better than them.
I really hate that. It's just,
yeah, that was really nice.
I don't know. It's almost too nice. I don't like that.
I'm going to have a hard time making fun of him all weekend now.
I know, dude. Like, I heard that and I was like, man, God, okay. Like, I guess you're going to have to do it that way. But I mean, listen, I think that it's a very huge compliment. I think a lot of things that he said was true. But I will also say, I remember I was at the SEC baseball tournament, my favorite thing ever. And I'll never forget, it was after when Arkansas beat Paul Skeens and LSU in the tournament, and it had Hunter Hahn and Hagen Smith that shut him down. What was funny is I remember in the press conference, I was sitting there and I was like, watching Jay Johnson, and unsolicited just goes in on Peyton Stovall. just saying, Peyton Stovall is a great player. I can tell you right now, he's a Louisiana kid. I can tell you right now that if I was the coach here at LSU, we would have made sure we had him here. But he's at Arkansas. Great player that we would love to have here. It just really went over the top. And I'm like, you're tampering. It's like, you're trying to get him to enter in the portal and come back to LSU. So he kind of has his own way of doing things, but it was a pretty nice little compliment there from Jay Johnson.
Yeah. And I see, Bobby in the chat, he says, does any coach ever say bad things about the team they're about to play? No, but they also don't go on the 3-minute dialogue about it.
Exactly.
I mean, that was a lot of kind words. The dude went all the way back through history and complimenting everything from recruiting to defense to, good grief.
Well, it's like, it just reminds me when that question was asked, does anybody ever say anything bad? It's like, no, but Cal and Patino didn't say anything bad about each other, but I think it's pretty obvious they did not like each other. So just because they don't say anything bad does not mean that they're just, they're fine. They're friends. It's like, man,
yeah.
Patino and Cal were pretty complimentary to each other, but everyone knew there's not a lot of love there. Oh man, I still love that. I still love being a part of that. And that was up there. It was so much fun.
Beautiful.
But still, that was great though. Great to see the respect there for Arkansas from the LSU Tigers and everything. And
You're already planting the seed to justify that sweep they're going to take.
Yep, exactly right. Too complimentary. But I will say that remember, Aaron Jarellis is going to be down there, doing his thing with Bombastic and giving you all the coverage from that. So be sure to tune in for that because it's going to be a great one. And hopefully Arkansas ends up following up, because that's my biggest concern, Curtis, is just the sweep over Texas, number one. How are you going to follow that up? Are you going to have an emotional letdown, or are you going to be motivated and just building upon that? That's what I'm going to see.
Man, they had a lot of juice in that Texas series. That's kind of been lacking for the last several weeks. Now, was that because it was the number one team and you're playing at home and everybody's jacked up for it? Is that just the way you're going to be now? And you're right. Like, does the show travel on the road now to a place where LSU is probably going to have the same energy in their place that you did in yours last weekend? So yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. Does the Reese Robinette show travel? Ooh. Is this a road act? That's what I want to know.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how he follows it up. By the way, real quick, Brock says, I thought I remembered Blaine Knight going undefeated, not losing a game all season. He did. That was in 2018. Jay Johnson was referring to 2017 because that was the only year, as crazy as it is, and it is insane, that on the same coaching staff was with Dave Van Horn was Tony Vitello and Wes Johnson. Just insane. I know that there's a lot of sports. Like, who has had, we even did this in the airport, I think in San Francisco, maybe it was Providence. We're just looking at coaching trees. As far as like in college, especially, they have like the Broyles Award because Frank Broyles had so many great assistants. But in baseball, I think you'd be hard pressed to find, at least here in the modern era, a coach that had better hiring of assistant coaches to what Dave Van Horn's had over the past 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, that coaching tree is pretty impressive, man.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting in an airport somewhere and we were doing college basketball, I think, coaching trees.
Yeah.
And it'd be fun to sit down and do the exact same thing with baseball and Dave and comparing to other guys.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I think we almost tried to do that because we were bored. And I think it was in the Providence airport, I think. Maybe it was San Francisco. I can't remember. It was a blur. But I think we tried to, but there just wasn't as much information finding college baseball going way back on assistant coaches as it was in basketball. So, but yeah, it would be interesting to see about all that too. So, do you want to bring this up for Only Cable? Because, hey, with basketball, but he wants to know any new basketball news? Or are we in the Cal quiet period again? LOL.
I feel you. I've been trying to tell folks, though, since, after they got Ewan and Pringle and then had that retention announcement and all that stuff, is like they're being very patient. I mean, they're not in a hurry at all. Like I haven't expected anything to happen before all this NBA draft combine stuff settles down. And I still don't. And that's now just a few days away. And that's the blessing in all of this is it's going to start heating back up here. I mean, you feel good about, Carter Knox coming back and everything, but still got to go through the combine. We'll get to watch that next week. And then we'll know pretty soon after that. I mean, the deadline, I think, to withdraw from the draft and maintain your eligibility, I want to say it's like the 28th of May. But the combine's over on the 18th. And so guys are going to start making those decisions pretty quick. And then you'll know for sure about Carter. And you know for sure about some of those other guys who you might be interested in. What does Jameer Watkins do? And, some of these other dudes. And then you kind of have an idea of, all right, This is the final pool of players. Is Arkansas going to be able to go out and try to add, a big time dude out of the portal? If not, do they go the international route to wrap up the roster? The rest of the secondary market of the portal's kind of been picked clean. If I'm being honest, there's dudes out there, but it's becoming thinner and thinner. So we're getting closer for sure. And hell, the team moves on to campus in the end of the month to start summer workouts. I'm not saying the roster has to be finalized by then, but they're going to try to do that. So we're getting there. We're getting close.
It'd be really nice if they had the roster finalized by that point. It'd be really nice.
Cool.
Yeah. I really hope, again, the whole Carter Knox thing, he better come back, because I already got the shirts ready to roll of the kill, celebrate, kill again, celebrate. That has to be a thing that has to be shown and showcased. Still the coolest thing ever.
At this point, I mean, just with all the information that we've been able to get, going into the combine, it feels very, very strongly that he's going to return. If he doesn't at this point, whether it's just because he goes crazy out there and, winds up getting a guarantee that he can't refuse, or whether he's just a guy who all of a sudden just man, forget college, dude. I gotta start my pro clock. This place is going to melt down, and they'll go out and get some, they're not going to let Carter Knox walk and not replace him with somebody really, really good. At that point, they wouldn't have a choice. But I just don't want to live in a world where we have to go live for the Pot at the Palace and be like, so Carter Knox is staying in the draft. How we feeling? Nope. I have no interest in that whatsoever. No.
So Carter, don't let that happen. You have a choice in this. Do not let that happen. It's up to you.
We need you, man.
Yeah, exactly right. Also, too, real quick, before we get to our best and worst of the week, Bobby G just says, we have around the same number of players as last year. I think Cal is good. Well, wasn't that a thing, though, about the number of players?
Yeah, I mean, if it wouldn't have come out of his mouth that he didn't have enough and felt like they needed more, it's I mean, if they wind up with Knox back, they have 8 for sure, proven guys. Well, not proven guys that they can really rely on, whether it's the McDonald's All-Americans or, the returners and the transfers, whatever. And so you could talk yourself into them having 10 if you really believe that freshman Isaiah Sealy and freshman Kareem Rattel are going to be, impact pieces for you. But I'd be pretty damn underwhelmed if that's how this wound up ending. And that's not to say they wouldn't be really good. I mean, they would, but they would just be leaving themselves vulnerable to depth, to an injury, to one guy not panning out when they just don't have to do that. So that's the only thing for me. I expect them to get Knox plus one more. I think is probably what this is going to wind up looking like. And I'm okay with that if it winds up being the case.
Well, let's hope so. Real quick before we move on, I like this from Kingsley with the emojis. It's pretty good. The kill, celebrate again. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, Kingsley.
Very good.
So, all right. Again, we'll get to your chats. We'll have a Freedom Friday with BetSaracen where we'll just answer pretty much anything and everything you guys want to ask. But we do have to get into our best and worst of the week, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty. Why wait months or even years to sell your home the traditional way? Where at Looper Auction and Realty, they offer a faster, smarter option where you can sell your home at auction. No repairs, no contingencies, no drawn-out negotiations. You set the terms, buyers compete, and you walk away with a firm closing date. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control and it gets sold fast. So call Looper Auction and Realty at 479-996-4848 or visit looperauction.com. Looper Auction and Realty, sold in 30, closed in 30. So I have a few best and worst. And by the way, folks, if you want to give your best and worst, go ahead and throw that in the chat and we'll try to get to some of those as well. But my best is the low-hanging fruit. I've been talking about her all week, but man, Brie Ellis, shout out to her. She's just as dominant of a player in her respective sport as you could possibly imagine. And the fact that she has officially been named the SEC Player of the Year, I don't think there's any controversy behind that. Tied the SEC home run record, broke the Razorbacks single season record for home runs. She's not done yet. The Razorbacks are in the Final Four, I guess, of the SEC tournament. So we'll see how that plays out. But she's been electric. And I almost forget, I remember when she came from Auburn.
Yeah.
She transferred. It was almost not controversial, but I wanted to say, I should have looked this up again, but I wanted to say that there was some stuff coming out, but they wanted her gone because she was a cancer in the locker room. There's problems with the coaches, blah, blah, blah. There's some sort of smoke around it. And, it's kind of like, well, I mean, I trust Courtney Deifel and all that. Well, I think it's paid off. I think it was a good get. And I don't think that there's been any issues or anything like that. She's a phenomenal player. She's been phenomenal for Arkansas. So to me, she's the best of the week for me of just continuing her dominance and now winning SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most no-brainer. That would only happen to Arkansas if she was not to get that award. I mean, good grief. It's been incredible. We were at the airport yesterday, and Michelle, we were talking about Brie Ellis, and she was like, she like the Caitlin Clark of softball. I was like, well, I mean, yes, in a lot of ways, like just with that dominance and the attention that she's bringing to the sport. Not quite to the same level, obviously, but just in terms of what she's doing this season, it's been absolutely incredible, man. Really, really cool. And you want it to have the storybook ending too. Like, continue this thing, keep it rolling. I'm sure, I guess, like they're going to host, right? Yeah, they'll host for sure. And then, like get to Oklahoma City, right? Get down there and make something of this. I mean, this is the perfect year for them to go down there and really do something special. Courtney Deifel's due. It just feels like it's just a matter of time for them to have their breakthrough, and you have the best player in the country, and maybe the best player, in a long, long time at your disposal. Take advantage of it. I really want them to keep it rolling.
Yeah, I do too. And they've never been to the College World Series. Arkansas has not been in Oklahoma City. And I know that obviously people are going to want to invest in Omaha and Arkansas going to that. We want both teams to go. Both teams need to go. But if there was ever a time where, say, if the baseball team didn't go to Omaha, which we don't want, but if softball went to Oklahoma City, it being so close, the Razorback fans are going to show up for that. They'll show up for it anyways, but that would be a really cool thing for travel purposes, where it's not like you have to travel to Timbuktu. Like Oklahoma City, at least from Northwest Arkansas, is what, 3 hours, 3.5 hours at the most away. So that would be nice. But yeah, that's one of my best of the weekend.
I like it. Mine, I've got a few. I mean, one, it's I talked about it on the Pod of the Palace this morning, so I won't get into all of it, but being back here in Virginia Beach is the best of the weekend for me. And it's, hey, me and Michelle we got married out here, and a lot of memories, and that's the obvious reason. But there's been so many Razorback recruiting happenings when we've been out here. Yeah. Because we come out here like once a year, just for vacation or whatever. And it's absolutely nuts. Every time we come here, something happens, man. And we had the Anthony Black flip, in the midnight hour. The Barry Dunning news happened when we were down here. Trevin Brazil popped when we were down here. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. And it's fun, because we just kind of go back to the same spots and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's where I was when Trevin popped. And I had to write a story right here on the side of the road because, Barry Dunning decided he was going to commit. And just crazy, man, to think back on some of those memories, which is cool. A couple others for me. One, I don't know if you have graced yourself with this viewing opportunity. You're a Righteous Gemstones guy?
So I'll be honest. I just started it earlier this week. I got through the first episode. I just haven't had time, but
okay.
I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I can't wait to watch it.
Absolutely hilarious and out of pocket. The series finale just wrapped up, and watched it, and it was well done. But just one of my favorite binges, man, and really, really enjoyed that. I'm gonna miss it now that it's gone. Like I gotta fill that void of just nonsense. So that's one for sure. Wanted to give them a shout out. I know you're a wing guy, John.
Oh yeah.
We went to this wing spot last night. They have Dr. Pepper sauce. Fire. They've got a Memphis sweet and sticky that's probably the best, but they have a Dr. Pepper sauce. It's incredible. I ate so many wings last night. I still feel sick, man. But big chicken wing guy, I thought you would appreciate that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm trusting your judgment. It wouldn't be something that I'd be like, oh man, Dr. Pepper sauce. I've always liked that. But man, yeah, listen, I'm never going to turn down a good wing unless it's the fiery hot ones from the depths of hell, like they were in Auburn at one time. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. By the way, real quick before I go to my other best, yesterday there was a question that got submitted. It wasn't on the show, but I need you to ask Michelle this. It was a what's more likely type question that was submitted by a listener for you to ask Michelle. So whenever she gets a chance, but it was just Who would you rather, or who would be a better third wheel traveling with you and Michelle? Would you rather take John or Andrew? That's just third wheeling. So just ask her that. I know my feelings won't get hurt, but I can't speak for Andrew because I'm just telling you right now, I feel like his feelings might be hurt if he's not the answer. But just when she gets a chance, ask her that question. So
I will. If she walks back in here before the end of the show, I'll ask her. My guess is going to be that she says John. I think that's where she's going to head with this.
Okay.
She loves Andrew for sure, but Andrew is an agent of chaos.
He is that.
And so she gets a little, she would just be on edge the whole time, in a good way. But I think she would choose John for the travel because she gets stressed out a little bit.
Yeah. Andrew's like, I don't know if you've seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but they have like their like kind of characters that they play, but they refer to him, they call Charlie the wild card. Like Andrew's the wild card, where it's like every group's got to have a wild card. You never know what's going to happen. That's what Andrew is. So yeah, I thought that was really funny so make sure you ask her. Can't wait to hear the response. Another best of the weekend for me. Okay, we talk about college football traditions, and some are cool, some are lame, whatever. But one of the ones that I've always, I didn't understand it, but as time has gone on, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Is Virginia Tech with the Enter Sandman deal? When that. So for the first time ever, Metallica performed last night in Virginia Tech's football stadium.
Really?
Yes. And they did the Enter Sandman, and here's a video of it, and it's just really cool. Was really it right there, but man, it was just really cool, which is kind of crazy that they've never performed there. I feel like, dude, they've been doing that song for as long as I can remember, like 20 years plus. And I'm not saying that Metallica tours all the time, and I don't know if Blacksburg's a place that they really venture out to, but I was just surprised to see that was the first time. But that's got to be one of those like things that always just come together and make things that were always there, but even better when you have that. So that was really cool for that to happen too.
Right. Man, oh man. No, that's awesome. Let's see. Oh, yeah, let me tee you up for this one. Tell me if this belongs on best of the week.
Okay.
North Carolina for calling out the fake news and not contributing to the sabotage of love between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. This is getting ridiculous. Dude. She is not banned from the football facilities. All right. This is ridiculous.
What is happening?
Just let them be in love.
Yeah, love wins, like
speaking of love, carry on. I'll be right back. I have to open the door for the cake. Okay.
Understandable. I'll be over here if you need me. I'm glad he brought that up because this story, I know some people don't care about it, but it was wild that TMZ as well as I believe it was Pablo Torre, reporting the fact that Jordan Hudson had been banned from football facilities at North Carolina. It was like, oh man, finally putting the hand down and all that stuff. Well, then North Carolina comes out and was like, that has not happened. They put out a statement saying that she has not been banned. She's welcome to all facilities. And it's just like, what's happening? Like, why does it have to be this way? And I saw somebody put out a meme and it was so great. Do you know the meme of the guy that's got an apron that's like sitting on the sidewalk on a bench outside and he just looks exhausted?
Yes.
Like it just said like North Carolina PR team. And it's just like, that's them. I'm like, yeah, I can't imagine. Like imagine just like SIDs like we deal with at Arkansas, just like having to deal with this crap. I just could not imagine, man.
I've got to find out what the most active North Carolina message board is, and I'll buy a subscription.
Oh, dude!
Now through the rest of the year.
God, and I'm not. I know it's whatever, and maybe Razorback fans wouldn't like it, but dude, I would love that. Like, could you imagine our content every day if this was at Arkansas and like we were dealing with this stuff? Like, just like what, dude? Especially with like North Carolina basketball, which I know basketball is number one over there, but it's like,
yeah,
dude. Just you thought Bill Belichick itself was a big storyline. This is adding this to the mix is crazy.
We would have had that chick on the show by now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Or at least like her friends. Like just
That's probably more likely.
yeah. We turned into TMZ over here, man. That's great though. That story just continues to be
we
insane.
would get one of the employees, like the cashier at that sex museum where she made her millions, and we would have interviewed her. So,
well, because what isn't it up in like the Northeast, right?
I think so.
When we were up there at Providence, we could have just stopped by, made a quick trip, see what it was about up there at the sex shop. Oh man, that I'm glad you brought that up because that's pretty phenomenal. That's pretty fantastic.
Hey.
Just insane. I don't really know what to think about it, but I'm glad I'm over here, and not dealing with it over there. But either way, worst of the weekend for me. Let's see. I got just two of these. Actually, I got two of them. One of them being real quick last night, South Carolina baseball. Good grief, man.
Wow, I saw this. Where's Quinn?
Yeah, I know. Quinn, I'm sorry. I was surprised he wasn't in here like gloating about it, but maybe it was even so bad that he didn't have a response to it. But Auburn, South Carolina played each other. Auburn put up 24 runs against South Carolina. 24 runs. You're like, oh, that's impressive. Well, you know what? All the runs were scored within the first 5 innings. Listen, I know bad games happen. We see like Arkansas run ruled Georgia and lost a series. Like that's one thing. But when you're at this point in time in the year and in conference play, I know South Carolina's not good, but when you're getting just your rear handed to you like that, where you're giving up 24 runs on the first day when you're supposed to have, your best pitcher out there and everything. Cool. Man, maybe the pulmonary thing ain't working out so well over there in South Carolina, but that was definitely one of the worst. I was just like, geez, have some pride.
They treated South Carolina like they were Missouri.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. They just had fun with it, man.
And I wasn't even following it. I mean, obviously, why the hell would I? But I just was on my the For You thing on Twitter. Yeah. And it was the South Carolina baseball account. And it was like final score 24-2. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, here's the final, and we're moving on from it. So that was one, but I'd also want to play this one real quick too. I'm not trying to start any controversy of the language here used in all of this stuff, but it's just something that frustrates me because I don't like this guy. But, last night, Draymond Green got a technical in the NBA game for literally throwing an elbow, hitting a guy, very obvious, all of that. He freaks out. He has a meltdown, everything like that. Well, then he just kind of had a crash out in post game because the Warriors did lose. And this was his response to a lot of this stuff.
Angry black man. I'm not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Forget the thing about the black man and all that stuff, because I'm not going to get into that. My thing is I'm like, one, no one's doing that. Is it like making this agenda? But two, look at what you've done. Like, you're hitting people. You're like, it's not that the place is out to get you. You are literally elbowing people. You're hitting them in the balls. You're throwing them on the ground. Like, and this has been going on for years. So I just don't understand why you're like, oh, you're playing the victim in this thing. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Everything he said was true outside of the agenda against him. It's not an agenda there. I mean, but yeah, you have a reputation as a dirty basketball player, but all the other things are true. Educated, successful, great family, great at basketball. All that is true. But bro, like, I mean, how many balls do you have to kick and faces do you have to elbow and everything else? Crash outs on the court do you have to have before, maybe you realize, yeah, maybe I need to tone it back a little bit. I mean, I'm going to tell you, man. It's like
it'd be like Dennis Rodman back in his heyday. Just be like, I'm tired of the narrative that I'm like crazy and wacky on the court and that I'm, all this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, have you seen yourself, man? Like, it's just crazy. So that was my other worst of the weekend.
Okay. I've got two. One, the place we stayed at last night, they had a Wi-Fi outage, like the entire thing. Fortunately, I'd already recorded Pod the Palace and StreamYard, so I had it. Just hadn't uploaded it yet, and there was no 5G in there, and so like my hotspot was hanging on by a thread. John, I started uploading the podcast at 10 o'clock at night. It did not finish. It published late. It goes out at 6 o'clock every morning. It was after 6:30 before it went out. That's how long it took. I was just on the hotspot the entire time. while it was happening. I was stressed out. I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up and I'm like, oh, okay, move from 11% to 14. That's great. Just was driving me nuts, man. It took me like an hour and a half to make a thumbnail for it. I didn't even do the podcast. Like it's not even out there on podcast form. I couldn't do it. It just drove me nuts. So that's a worst of the week for sure.
Well, real quick, that happens again, dude. You could just let me know and I can upload it. Like I could have handled it. Like
I'm not messing with y'all.
I'm dude, I don't mind doing and helping out, but no,
I'm about to disappear off the face of the earth for the rest of the weekend. The least I can do is upload my own show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Gosh, man, it drove me nuts. My other one, and this is slightly off topic, but did you see the story about the dude who was on death row and then?
Yes, I had this linked, and I'm glad you're bringing it up. Please continue.
The firing squad?
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, man. All right. Yeah. So they're doing the firing squad in South Carolina again, apparently. And this guy who was on death row gets set up for it. And the way they do this is like they put you there and they put like a mask over your head or whatever. And they put a bullseye on your chest over the heart, like a big red target. Shoot here. And they have professional gun shooters, right? Who are 15 feet away from you. And it's designed like shoot them in the heart, like the ammunition, everything they use. It's like this maximum damage. The point is we're going to kill you right away because you've been sentenced to death, but you're not going to get the pain and suffering. They missed. They missed. They damaged everything but his heart. It's like, his liver, his pancreas. And the dude was like bleeding out and suffering for 5 minutes because they missed their target.
Like, dude, I was reading this story for one, at least according to the story I was reading, that he chose this. So it wasn't like, they're forcing him. Like, he's the one that chose this was the way he wanted to go. But yeah, I'm like, that's something. It kind of reminded me of like when the movie Green Mile, when that dude doesn't put the sponge being wet and ends up being a problem. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Is like, how if you are tasked, like I'm not a professional shooter, but if I'm 15 feet away with a gun, I feel like I could probably get there. I could probably make that happen. I could not believe that. And yeah, I had this pain and suffering, which sucks because you don't want to have, but at the same time, like, what are we doing here? Are we back in the 1800s or whatever? It's like firing squad. Did they have funny hats on? And like, also the people that are doing this, is this their job? Is it like a volunteer gig? It's like, hey, your job is to go and to shoot people professionally, like in a way. I don't know. Like, there's just so many questions I have about this whole thing. But
yeah, that was absolute insanity.
That's rough.
I don't know how that happens. Crazy.
Well, I'm gonna ask this question, and we're gonna get dark here. We're not gonna ever be on death row, but if we were on death row, how would you want to go? Like, what would be your choice and your method of being taken out?
I think the chair.
The chair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I think that would be the way, or I forgot what exactly it's called. Lethal injection, I guess, because then it just kind of like take you away.
I think so.
So maybe that. I think the worst way to go, because I think, do you remember the Limp Bizkit music video of what was the song called? Oh no, I just lost it. But anyways, the music video, they were being sentenced to death and they like put him in a encompassed tub and they just filled it with water and they drowned. I'm like, I feel like that'd be the worst way to go, is drowning.
Jeez. Yeah. If I had to pick a way that I just didn't want to die in general, drowning would be the one. So
drowning on fire would be the two things I would not want to have happen at the same time.
Yeah. I think I would choose the chair. Like, if I did something bad enough to be in that position, shock it out of me, man.
Yeah. Just who knows? Maybe you get a thrill in the beginning. Like you feel like Iron Man or something during the beginning. Maybe, probably not, but still. But yeah, I just wanted to, really get to that horrible question of how would you like to die if you were put on death row? Which, to put a little levity on it, one of my favorite things ever, I think it was either my dad or an uncle of mine. One of the funniest things I ever heard as a kid was when they were talking with the adults were talking, like I was just overhearing it, but he was talking about this friend of mine. They're like, I just found out that he's only got 2 weeks to live. And they're like, oh geez, man, what's wrong with him? Well, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, well, why has he only got 2 weeks to live? Because he's on death row. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's a way to start it. But Man, that was there's your little levity for a serious situation there. So, but I tell you what, I'm not getting the firing squad over there in South Carolina. Apparently, I'm not gonna have them.
No, I don't want that.
Jeez,
It's like they're firing warning shots. Like sometimes it's like watching Sopranos or whatever. It's like, I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm gonna shoot you in the kneecap or in the foot. Like send a message. Like, no, man,
no,
you're here to end this.
Yeah, I wonder if did they have like the guns that have like the bayonet at the end? Like it looks like in the old days, like the big spear. Like I don't know. I have so many questions I probably don't want to hear the answer to, but it's just fascinating. Let's go ahead. We'll have Matt Musso here in about 15 or so minutes. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get into a little Freedom Friday action presented by our friends over at BetSaracen, the number one sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. Plenty of specials to choose from when it comes to parlays, when it comes to everything, spreads, money lines, all things here with Arkansas Razorback Athletics. They have it for softball and for baseball this weekend. Some specials there too. They also have all the NBA playoffs, all the action. So check it out today by downloading the app on your iPhone or Android with BetSaracen, or you can visit BetSaracen.com. Because that was actually one of the stories randomly I was going to bring up for that. But there was another. I feel like there's another random story. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm done with that stuff. So either way, let's see. We'll get to your chats, folks, here in Freedom Friday, which, again, just to reiterate, it's just if you guys want to ask us anything, kind of it's like, weekend, we're getting ready for it, having some fun. It can be anything. It can be sports related, non-sports related. Just we will not answer any questions if Curtis gets asked, hey, is Cal done with the roster yet? That question is off limits because it's done. It's played out. Don't need that. So we'll get to a few of those.
I'll tell you what, if you ask, I'll answer in a different way every time.
Just flip the words around and change your adjectives. Brighton Moore, which I hope that's your real name. He says, Curtis, is there anyone in Nashville Cal would be interested in watching this week? And he was flying out of XNA yesterday.
I just looked at this and was trying to think about it. Off the top, I'm not sure. I'm going to do my research though. I'm trying to think about portal guys who aren't getting ready for the combine. Or I guess he could go visit guys who are getting ready to go to the combine, in fairness. I don't know.
He was totally doing a connection flight, like, because he doesn't fly direct. He doesn't.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I'm frustrated because I immediately thought, well, Van Allen Lubin, who's in North Carolina, the power forward, he went to Vanderbilt last year. For some reason, I thought he was a Nashville native, but he's not. So he's not the guy. I was about to be like, ooh, this is exciting. No. So
also too,
I will say, sorry, it just reminds me about Nashville though. I would not be surprised if Arkansas plays a basketball game in Nashville next season, not at Vanderbilt.
And not the SEC tournament.
Correct.
We're going. I love Nashville, man.
Yeah.
The SEC tournament is whatever. Like it has its pros and cons, but if we can find another reason, an excuse to go to Nashville.
The game that was in Kansas City was supposed to be in Nashville this past year, and they wound up not being able to do it because the people at Bridgestone wouldn't. They just were like, we're not going to staff it on Thanksgiving Day. They were just we're not going to do that, and so they wound up playing it in Kansas City.
Man, I mean, I get that, but hey, could you not put a poll out, be like, hey, any workers that want to work on Thanksgiving, get time and a half, volunteer? Like, I don't know, maybe there could be something. Yeah, something like that. Also, Witty, so appreciate the super chat, goes, my wife suggested both you do cups in the cake. Is what he said.
That's we might do that. Michelle just walked in here. Like they'll bring you room service or whatever at a hotel. So she's got one of those trays. And it's got like knives and forks and cups and no food. But it looks like we've got our options here on how we're going to do this. So. Okay,
good. Well, hopefully you can come to a conclusion on how you're going to do it. And hopefully the cake's like good tasting. I know that's not the most important thing, but hopefully it's something
very important to me. Yeah, I mean it's a distant second on the list of importance. So
yeah, will that cake completely be consumed? Like, how big of a cake is it? Is it like?
It's I mean, it's a decent sized cake. It's like one that you would buy at the like in that cake like that bakery section at Harps or neighborhood market or something.
Gotcha.
It's not like a full on birthday cake. It's like one of the circle cakes.
Okay.
Couple layers to it. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
It's made for more than two, but I'm going to eat 80% of it by myself. So
yeah. Hey, listen, you've probably done this. It's no big secret, but I love having like birthday cake type, but putting it in the freezer after you get the first initial thing and then just eating straight out. Cause it's not ice cream type, but it's close. It's really good though. By the way, Kingsley said, don't forget to ask Michelle the travel question. If she's over there, she needs to answer it.
Where's she at? Hey, are you in here? I don't know.
If she comes back in. Yeah. Well, if she comes back in, we'll find out for you because that's what everybody wants to know, obviously. Let's see. Cannon also says, Curtis, I might have missed it, but what gender do you want? This got to be
weirdly enough. Because I always thought, oh, boy, for sure. But from the day we found out, I've been just like, I don't know, something about being a girl dad has been making me excited. I'm going to be thrilled either way. I have thought that it was going to be a girl the entire time, but the last couple weeks here, after our last visit to the doctor, I've flipped the script. Like I feel like it's going to be a boy. I'll be happy either way, but I think to answer your question, surprisingly, girl. I think
girl dad.
Yeah,
girl dad. Yeah, no, and the thing is I don't have any kids, and as far as I know, I don't think any of them are on the way. So I will, I just felt like I've always wanted a boy because girls stress me out. Like every time I go to anywhere and I see like young girls and just the way they're dressed and all that, I was like, I can't do this. I don't want a daughter. Like I have to go away. But it's still, hey, if it's a girl, it's gonna overwhelm the excitement no matter what is what it's about. So
I feel like with a girl, to me, I feel like I could do a good job of being the it's a little bit different. Like you're kind of a protector, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I could do a good job about that. I feel like a girl is more prone to hurting my feelings, which I could live with. A boy, I feel like is just gonna piss me off a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I feel like I'd be an awesome girl dad. With a boy, I would love to be, like the super role model and everything, but I just feel like naturally I'd be more of a disciplinarian, and so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Curtis is going to have to be that if he has a girl, brings home his boy for the first time and he's going to take his glasses off, be like, I have a 45 and a shovel. I doubt anybody would miss you. He's going to be that guy that's just coming at him, just like intimidating him. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Also, Razor Shark wants to know, when should we expect the basketball schedule to come out? I'm curious to see all the games before we have SEC play.
So we'll get the whole thing won't come out until like September or late September or October. But what we will get is here within the next couple weeks, the SEC ACC Challenge opponent. We'll get that. And at some point here in the summer, I want to say it's earlier in the summer, we'll get the SEC schedule, like the opponents. We won't get the dates and everything, but like who you're playing and where. We'll get that. So it's going to start coming together here pretty soon.
Also, we have from Adam says, Curtis, do you have any information in regards to who Calipari will possibly schedule? And do you want him to schedule USC and Eric Musselman? Yes.
I would love for them to schedule USC and Eric Musselman for sure. They're going to get their half dozen or so bye games at Bud Walton that don't excite anybody. It's just kind of part of the deal. I'm pulling every string I can to try to get them to bring UC Riverside and Gus Arginal in here. Probably not going to happen the first year, but it'd be pretty sweet. As far as who they could possibly schedule, like things that we've actually heard, Baylor, another game there. Now, Scott Drew might have even said that they were coming to Arkansas next year. Mm-hmm. Is that finalized? I don't know about that yet, but I would be on the lookout for a game with Baylor somewhere. We were told, John and I, by someone who would absolutely know to be on the lookout for Gonzaga, whether it's this season or next, getting a series started with them. And we were also told that a big part of the recruiting pitch to guys like Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff was playing the most competitive schedule in the country. So it sounds like they're trying to really beef that up. But those are two schools right off the top. You're going to get an ACC school at home for the SEC ACC Challenge. I would also not be surprised to see Arkansas add another ACC school now that they've dropped their league play from 20 down to 18. The whole point for that is they want the ACC schools to play another really tough game. So it makes sense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Arkansas with like 3 ACC schools on the schedule. But then Baylor and Gonzaga are 2 that stand out there. And I don't know if it will happen this year, but in the future, don't be surprised to see regular season stuff with Kansas either.
Give me NC State. Let's get Will Wade back. That's what we want. That's what we want to have happen. All right, a few more here. A lot of it's again, this is Freedom Friday, so you can do whatever you want, say, ask you anything you want. But you got sweet Arkansas gal. She says, my nephew's about your age, Curtis, and he is the sweetest girl, Dad. He started her in T-ball at 3 years and 11 months. His pictures next to him melt my heart.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait. I really, boy or girl, really want an athletic child. Just like one that plays sport. I don't care what sport, but I want to be able to irrationally cheer for that and, like cause scenes and all those things. So I hope that's the case. I got to be careful about not pushing it too much to where they just don't like it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest balancing act for me, so.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also too, okay. So Michelle's in the chat. So we got,
she's, I see her now.
Okay.
So did
Ask
you
her
hear
the
the question that was asked of you? What's the answer?
The answer is John.
Did you hear that?
I did. That's all that matters. It's me. It's me.
Not for the reason that Curtis said.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I think that I would be a good wing person. I gotta get John a date.
You're trying to hook John up with
okay. Yeah.
This is music to his ears.
Andrew, yes. You never know what to get with Andrew, but it will be an adventure. So.
See, that is the best save ever by Michelle, because she said it to where it's not going to hurt Andrew's feelings. It's not about not being around Andrew. It's more about helping John out. She's good. She's good.
She's really good. I should have just waited before I said anything, because I probably hurt Andrew's feelings. I'm surprised he hasn't texted me already. Like, Agent of Chaos, what the hell, man?
Yes. Well, he's not listening and watching this. He's not doing that. He's got to catch up with Andor on Star Wars right now.
That's right.
Come on,
that's right.
Well done. Yeah, that was great. She found a way. She found a way to keep everybody happy. Let's see. Red J just says boys are extremely infuriating to raise, but I'd like to believe once they come of age, doing all the guy stuff with them is going to be an absolute blast.
This is true. Yeah. This is very true.
That's great. Also, too, Woo MF Pig says, "What's the wildest thing you'd give up for Hogs Natty? Your first newborn, Curtis?" I don't think he would do that.
Yeah, I haven't met it yet, but I don't think I'd be giving it up for sure. Wow. And there's probably levels to this. Like for a basketball one, I give up a lot. Like probably, bodily organs that I could live without. Like I might give up a kidney or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like the baby and the wife are both off limits.
Yeah, there's certain things. Like, somebody asked me, and it was a horrible question. I wanted to fight them, but they asked me if I would sacrifice Rowdy to give up. I was like, man, come on, you can't ask me to do that. No, I can't do that.
I thought about that for a minute, and I was like, Slim, he's getting up there in age. Like, would he be a worthy sacrifice? He might appreciate it and wear it like a badge of honor, but I'm really partial to that dog, so I can't.
I know.
Give him.
I'm like, I don't want to live with the rest of my life thinking back to that. So no, that's not a good question, and I don't like that question. But I do a lot, but there's certain things that I would not sacrifice. Maybe some caffeine or something like that. Maybe that. Yeah, something simple. Let's see. JP Sullivan, appreciate the super chat, man. He says, been watching y'all for free the last month, so here you go. I appreciate you guys always. Waiting on this big news to pop, Curtis. Will history repeat itself?
We'll see. And first of all, we appreciate you, man. And it's every time I'm here, something happens. One time it was somebody inadvertently tweeted out the commitment of a player that was not committed.
Whoops.
It just hadn't happened. And we all write the just in case stories, just, so you're ready or whatever. And sometimes you draft them. But somebody accidentally hit send, and we were waiting at the restaurant that I think we're going to eat dinner at tonight. And I saw it and I was like, wait, what? Huh? Like they're not even recruiting him. What happened? And so I had to call somebody on the staff, and they're like, no, not a thing. But there's always some kind of drama. At the bare minimum, I'm expecting maybe like a Rothstein tweet of a game that Arkansas is scheduling or something. Something's going to happen. I'm confident in that.
As soon as you're about to put that cup in the cake, you're going to get a notification from Arkansas. It's like Carter Knox and Jameer Watkins standing together, being like, "Hey, we're coming and playing together," blah blah blah, and you're just going to want to die.
Yeah,
like
the knife is going to be in the cake. I'm like, Michelle, just close your eyes, wait for 15 minutes.
Yep. Just it's like you waited this long, you can wait another 15 minutes real quick. So that just won't happen. It'll be fine. All right. Well, I tell you what, we, of course, Arkansas and LSU are coming up this weekend, and we know it's going to be a big series down there in Baton Rouge as the Razorbacks are coming off of a sweep of Texas. LSU's coming off of a series loss against Texas A&M, but a guy that knows a lot about it, Matt Musso of ESPN 104.5 down there in Baton Rouge. He does Musso at the Box. Great podcast talking all things LSU baseball. We had a chance to catch up with him and talk about this upcoming series and what to expect out of both teams. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hear from Matt Musso talking Arkansas and LSU this weekend. All right, right now we know that Arkansas and LSU will be taking on each other down in Baton Rouge this weekend for a pretty big series for both teams. Arkansas coming off of a series sweep against the number 1 Texas Longhorns. Can they build upon that? Well, LSU is going to be in their way. And to talk more about it, let's go ahead and welcome in a very special guest here on the show. It is Matt Musso, who, of course, is the host of Musso at the Box, covering all things LSU baseball. But Matt, appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, John. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, it's good to talk with you. And I know it's LSU baseball. You guys are pretty much good in every sport, it seems like these days down there at LSU. But LSU baseball.
Men's basketball was a little rough.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all. You got to have at least one sport that's there. But LSU baseball, as we know, is a team, and expectations are always high. And they're a team that is constantly going to be in the mix. But let's just start right there. We are entering into the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Just how do you feel like the season has gone for LSU? Has it met expectation, above, below, just overall vibes of what the current situation is that LSU finds themselves in?
Well, I think it depends on who you ask and how they look at it. But I mean, if you take the 10,000 foot view, they're sitting at 15-9 in the league. They need 4 wins to get to 19, which would pretty much assure them a top 8 national seed, at least one of the top 8 national seeds. I know the SEC's in the running for many of them. And if you told an LSU fan that before the season you'd be at 38-11 and 4 wins away from a top 8, you'd be pretty excited about that. And that's right in line for where you want to be. That's the goal. Like, I think plenty of teams actually, would prioritize a top 8 over a conference championship in some cases. Now, not to say you don't want to win the SEC. Of course you want to win the SEC, but you want the path of the postseason, the path to Omaha, to go through your home stadium, whether you're LSU or Arkansas or anybody. So I think everyone's pleased with them being in the spot to achieve that. How they got there wasn't without trials and tribulations, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster, kind of a tale of two teams, tale of two halves. But in the end, they're right where they need to be, and the Hogs stand in their way, and this should be a great series between two really, really good teams, and LSU's going to play really well if they want to win it.
Well, speaking of LSU in the situation, I know that they're coming off of a series loss to Texas A&M, and Arkansas can concur because they also lost the series to Texas A&M, so in the same spotlight there. But just as far as what the strength and weakness, like what has made this LSU team when they were at their best, man, this is what's so great about them. But also when they've had their struggles, what's been the most consistent problem for them this season?
That's an interesting question, and it's interesting the way that you asked it, because I don't think LSU's played their best baseball yet. I really don't, because the strength of this team has changed. Like, it hasn't just been all together at once. I mean, John, earlier in the year, LSU's strength was their offense. They were a juggernaut on offense. They were hitting 1 through 9. They were scoring 10.5 runs per game. They were all over the opposition offensively. You couldn't come up for air, and it was a good thing because the pitching staff was taking a little bit of time to come along. You were working with Anthony Ianson to mold him into the number 2 starter that he has become today. You were bringing Chase Shores back from injury. Your bullpen had a lot of new young faces in it, and throwing strikes for them was quite honestly an issue. Like, LSU walked a bunch of people early in this season, but the offense was there to pick them up. Fast forward to the last weekend of the first half of the SEC schedule, you're at Auburn, you get swept. And in that series, the strength of this team kind of changed. The offense hit the skids. They scored single-digit runs. They punched out a lot. They expanded the zone. But that was the first time you saw the bullpen really come together for a weekend. And since then, you've seen Ianson blossom into one of the more dominant number twos in the country, and you feel great about your 1-2 at the top of your rotation. And now your bullpen the last 2 weeks is really pitching well. So now you look at it and you go, okay, the pitching is the strength while the offense has hit the skids. And you could look at that Auburn series and go, man, is it just life on the road in the SEC? And I think in the moment you could have said yes, but since then, there just hasn't been any consistency with LSU's offense, and they've really gone on droughts at the plate as well. They scored 7 runs over the weekend in College Station. For reference, Elon scored 14 runs in a weekend against Texas A&M. LSU scored 7, so it was and A&M's playing better. I understand that, and they are a good team. They're number 1 for a reason, but it's just kind of flipped. So, like, I don't think they've played their best baseball. And at points this season, the offense has been a strength, and now the pitching right now is the strength. So they're still kind of waiting for it to fully come together. One thing they've been very good at all year is fielding. LSU has been awesome in the field all year. Like, they're middle of the infield with Stephen Milam at short and Danny Dickinson at second. I would put that up against anybody in the country.
Well, and that's the thing with Arkansas. They kind of went through a skid, as weird as it is, because Arkansas lost 3 straight series in the SEC before this Texas series where they swept them for the first time since 2016, in a year that they didn't even make postseason. So it kind of showed you wouldn't think that they would have an historical thing happen when that ends up going on in the year they've had. But of course, they got some confidence back and everything. I know that there's a lot going on in the SEC and every team's good, but what do you make about the matchup itself between Arkansas and LSU? Both teams really good. Both teams good enough to get to the World Series. Both teams got a lot going on, but what is it about maybe Arkansas that's concerning, but maybe something you can exploit if you're LSU as well?
Well, concerning is the Aloy brothers. I don't know if you can really exploit them either. They're pretty awesome. I was recording the final preview podcast earlier today. I was talking about them, and I'm like, they are just a joy to watch baseball. Like, I actually just enjoy watching those two guys play ball. I'm not going to enjoy watching them play ball this weekend, but every other weekend they're awesome. I mean, they're definitely concerning. Davalon's concerning, but the Arkansas offense as a whole is concerning because there's no weak spot that you can see in the lineup. You don't get to come up for air. I mean, between the Aloy brothers, Vahiva is leading the SEC in runs and in hits, and then Kihio is leading in RBI. So it's like they're the perfect 1-2 punch for scoring runs. What I will say is LSU, though, they have against some of the SEC's best hitters have had a really good plan and have been able to neutralize them. Justin LeBron came into the box and went 1 for 13 with 5 punch outs. Jay Laviolette a week ago was 1 out of 12 with 6 punch outs. Caden Sorrell was 2 out of 12 with 6 punch outs. So there's been times where they've really had great plans going up against the opposition's best hitters. That's going to be easier said than done, with the Aloy brothers. So they would definitely be the biggest concern just as a whole as with the Arkansas offense. One thing I would hope that LSU could be able to exploit is starting pitching, because I think LSU has the starting pitching advantage. Zach Root's been really good. Gage Wood looks incredibly healthy right now, and that's scary in and of itself. But, man, I just look at Anderson and Ianson, and each of them have thrown a complete game this year. Ianson's coming off of that complete game. They've both punched out 100. They're both top 5 in the nation in strikeouts. This LSU staff strikes out a lot of hitters in general. So, and then if it all plays out the way LSU ultimately would like it to, you save Case and Evans for Sunday to start in a spot. And he's just been, he's a true freshman with a damn near sub 1 ERA to this point in the season. So, I like LSU on the mound starting, but that's what makes this series so great, because they're facing the best offense they've seen all year. Arkansas has been awesome to watch offensively. Again, won't be this weekend, but before that, they've been awesome to watch.
Yeah, let's hope it's still enjoyable for watching for Razorback fans, because they are hoping that's the case. But which I'm curious. I know that LSU is historically a great program and have had a lot of great coaches come through there. And, Arkansas is trying to get to that point to where they win their first College World Series. But I feel like these are kind of like the OGs of SEC baseball, like where these are two squads that have been around. And even when other programs didn't even realize they had a baseball team, they still had a lot of passion and everything. But I'm curious from the perspective of LSU and LSU fans, how do they view Arkansas baseball? I'm not trying to sit here and get T-Bob all riled up saying it's the Golden Boot Trophy. I don't want to do all that. But like, is it something to where is it more of a respect? Is it more of like they care more about Arkansas than some other program? Is there a bigger rival that they have in SEC? Just how's the vibe and feel that LSU fans have for Razorback baseball?
There is definitely a high level of respect. I can tell you that, especially after the last 5 years where Arkansas has won 4 of the series and there's a few sweeps in there. So the level of respect is definitely there. LSU baseball fans understand the talent level. They understand the quality of coach that Dave Van Horn is. And I think everyone around here is surprised he hadn't gotten one yet, just to be honest. I mean, they have been probably the most consistent program in the league the last decade, like under Dave Van Horn, if we're being honest. So, I mean, there's great respect. I mean, John, you know this. You and I have talked about this. This is my favorite weekend of the year when it pops up on the schedule. You have to throw that caveat out there now because of all the realignment, and LSU and Arkansas won't play every year, which I hate. But it's two teams with passionate fan bases, 2 great environments. Like whether this is up in Fayetteville at Baum Walker or here in Baton Rouge at the Box, you're going to have packed house and there's going to be a lot of fire and just intensity from the fan aspect of it. And then you're going to see 2 teams with great coaches and major league players all over the field on both sides. And when that happens, man, if it doesn't get your blood pumping, you don't have a pulse, right? But I would say great respect for sure from LSU fans toward the Arkansas program.
All right, before I let you get out of here, Matt, I know that it should be a great series and could go a lot of different directions, but just as far as the SEC in general and where it stands, just how do you feel like maybe some of the best teams that are out there? I know Texas had their stand, but losing a series there and getting swept. Tennessee's good, LSU's good, a lot of good teams, just like every other year. But what do you make of the SEC? Some of the favorites, and also, is it still weird to see your old coach over there at South Carolina? I got to feel like that's pretty weird.
It is still weird. It's not going well, which is like, oof, man. 5 league wins, not great. Knew that'd be a rebuild, but 5 league wins, not great. But yes, it is weird. Every now and then, if I come across a story and it'd be like South Carolina coach Paul Maneri, I'm like, no. Well, before the season, I would have told you I didn't think the SEC was going to be as strong as it was a year ago, just because you lost a lot. I mean, out of the league. Look at how many teams had to replace their ace and things of that nature, and the lineups, the power hitters you lost. But man, everybody retooled in the transfer portal, and you got a league that has a legitimate chance to get 6 of the 8 national seeds, which is absurd when you really think of it. I mean, they got 5 a year ago, but 6 just feels absurd. I think they have a chance to get 14 bids into the NCAA tournament, depending on what happens with Kentucky down the stretch, which is weird. But I'll tell you what, I like LSU. I like Arkansas. I like Georgia. I like Texas, but them losing Jared Spencer, and I always kind of had questions about their depth and their bullpen. That bothers me a little bit. But you add in now Texas A&M playing the way they are, Vanderbilt and Auburn playing the way they are, and Tennessee is bound to figure this out eventually. I mean, they got off to too great of a start for it to not click once more for them down the stretch. See if they're playing at home at Lindsey Nelson, but wherever they are, you're not going to see them in the postseason. So it's as strong as ever. And I guess I underestimated a little bit the depth of the league's ability to retool to the portal. Like you knew Arkansas would, you knew Tennessee would, you knew LSU would, but to see what Georgia's done, Vanderbilt and Auburn, and Florida starting to play better now. So, I mean, it's taken on a life of its own. It's as strong as ever, which is great. But man, one of these years, I sure wish there'd be a few more doormats in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we would hope that happens over here in Arkansas. It's been pretty rough, Still waiting for your first College World Series title, but seeing Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Tennessee win it and everything, and all that. So yeah, it's been fun.
This is the one that really ticked me off.
It ticked, yeah, especially because they beat Arkansas and the third place game to get there. It's everybody pisses us off here in Arkansas because everybody else seems to win. So hopefully, maybe this is the year for Arkansas, but it should be a great weekend down there in Baton Rouge. I know that this is going to be a highly talented group of individuals coming together and playing against each other, but it should be a great series as well. But it is Matt Musso of Musso in the Box. You can check him out covering all things LSU baseball. Matt, as always, man, appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the weekend, man, and we look forward to catching up with you later down the road.
Absolutely.